All right, let's talk about growing okra, or as many of us know it, bindi. We're going to break down everything you need to know to get a massive yield and make this crop really pay off. This is your complete guide, from seed all the way to sale. So let's jump right in. You know, okra isn't just another green vegetable. It is an absolute powerhouse of nutrition. We're talking packed with protein, iron, and phosphorus. And because it's such a staple in so many dishes, there's pretty much always a great market for it. That's the key, right? With the right game plan, this can be a seriously profitable crop. So, what are we shooting for? Get this, a really successful harvest can pull in a whopping 150 quintals per hectare. Now, a quintal is 100 kilograms, so yeah, that's 15,000 kilos of okra. That is the magic number. So, the big question is, how do we actually get there?
Okay, so we're going to walk through this in 4 key parts. First up, laying the groundwork. Then we'll get into the growth plan. After that, it's crop protection 101, and finally, the best part, reaping the rewards.
All right, first things first, we're diving into part 1, laying the groundwork. This is all about sowing, seeds, and soil. You know, if you get this part right, you're setting yourself up for a massive harvest. It's absolutely crucial. When it comes to okra, timing is pretty much everything. You've basically got 2 main windows. You can plant for a summer crop, that's going to be in February, March, or you can go for a rainy season crop, sowing in June, July. And here's a pro tip, that rainy season crop, it often has a way higher demand, and that, of course, can mean much better prices for you. Choosing your seed, this is another one of those make-or-break decisions. You really want to arm yourself with varieties that give you a high yield and can fight off diseases. So take a look at these options. You've got Pusa savani, which is great because it's resistant to that nasty yellow mosaic virus. And then there are superstars like Varsha Opar, which starts giving you fruit in just 45 days. Pretty amazing, right? So how much seed do you actually need? Well, it really depends on what you choose. If you're going with the common or improved varieties, you're looking at about 12 to 15 kilograms per hectare. But if you opt for those high-yielding hybrids, you'll need a little more seed, somewhere in the ballpark of 15 to 20 kilograms. Okay, here's your step-by-step planting blueprint. Every single step here has a really important job. First, you've got to plow that field until the soil is nice and loose. The roots need that space. Then you'll make ridges, keeping them about 45 centimeters apart. This helps with spacing and drainage. And here's a step you don't want to skip. Soak your seeds overnight. It really wakes them up and gets germination going faster. Finally, you just sow those seeds 30 centimeters apart right along the ridges.
All right, seeds are in the ground. Now we're moving on to part 2, the growth plan. This is all about feeding and watering your plants to get them big, strong, and super productive. Think of this as your plant's feeding schedule. It's super important. Right at sowing, you give them a solid base mix of nitrogen, phosphorus, potash, and zinc. Then, at the 30-day mark, you top dress with a boost of nitrogen for all that leafy growth. You do it again at 45 days, and then the final touch at 60 days is a dose of sulfur and potash. That's what's going to give you those really high-quality fruits. And what about water? Well, the plan here is actually pretty simple. You'll kick off your main irrigation about 45 to 50 days after you've sown the seeds. After that, it's all about one thing, consistency. Just keep watering every 2 to 3 days. You want to keep that soil moisture just right, not too wet, not too dry. That's the secret to healthy plants and lots of okra. Okay, your plants are growing strong, they're fed, they're watered, fantastic. But now it's time to play defense. Welcome to part 3, Crop Protection 101. This is where we talk about guarding your investment against all those things that want to ruin your hard work, namely pests and weeds. So let's meet the main villains. You've got your sucking pests like josids and aphids. They just drain the life out of the leaves. Then there's the dreaded fruit borer, which, well, it does exactly what its name says and ruins your okra. And of course, red spider mites. The key is to hit them fast and hard. On the right, you can see the specific solutions for each of these threats. And of course, we can't forget about weeds. They're the other big enemy, always trying to steal water and nutrients from your okra. Your best bet is a 2-pronged attack. First, get in there and do some manual weeding about 20 to 25 days after sowing, and just keep at it. If you need some backup, you can use a chemical control like fluchloralin before the weeds even show up. Just one thing, make sure you keep the soil moist after you apply it so it can do its job. Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most important safety rule. Do not, under any circumstances, spray insecticides on the fruit right before you pick it. It's just not safe. And for your own safety, always, always wash your hands really well after you've been spraying. Seriously, this part is non-negotiable. And here we are, the moment we've all been waiting for. After all that preparation, planting, feeding, and defending, it's time for the payoff. Let's talk about Section 4, reaping the rewards. This is where we see all that hard work turn into a real harvest. You know, one of the truly great things about okra is how fast you see results. We're talking just 75 to 80 days from the time you put the seed in the ground to your very first harvest. Think about that. In less than 3 months, you can actually start getting a return on your investment. That's pretty incredible.
And this brings us full circle. If you follow this whole blueprint, picking the right seeds, getting the soil just right, managing the feeding schedule and keeping pests away, you can hit that number we talked about at the very beginning. That amazing yield of 150 quintals per hectare, it is totally within your reach.
So there you have it. That's the complete playbook, from the dirt all the way to a profitable harvest. The path is laid out, the potential is huge. So really, there's only one question left to ask yourself. Are you ready to get growing?